Paranormies, it's Jenna and you're on the light side of the paranormal. Today I'm going to be reading your viewer stories. I love doing these videos. I love listening to all of your paranormal encounters. So I'm going to be going over some of the emails that you guys have sent in to us. If you want us to share your spooky story in an upcoming video, don't forget to email us. That is in the description below and it is also on the end screen at the end of this video. Quickly, before we get started, if you are new here and paranormal and spooky stuff is your jam, become a part of our Paranormy fam and click subscribe. We'd love to have you. Before I start reading off everybody's names, I'm going to apologize in advance for anything that I may be getting wrong. I'm going to do my best at pronouncing these as correctly as possible, but I am human and I make mistakes, so forgive me in advance. The first story we have is from Dragon Pantovic. My name is Dragon. This happened to my mother and I witnessed the whole event. Where I live, we have ruins of an ancient city, and our church organized a massive baptism. The event was organized on a site where there was an antique church. The priest started the ceremony, and when he got to my mother, he touched the cross to her forehead. She then started having a headache and vomiting. People around us started talking about how she was having a battle with the devil inside her soul. Before that, she was normally fine. What do you think? Sorry for my English because it is not my native language. That sounds like it would be something really terrifying to witness. Of course, coincidences do happen. She could just be having a bout of the flu or some sickness and it just showed up at a really inconvenient time. It's no wonder that the people around her started talking about the possibility of possession. I'm very, very curious, Dragon, if you can comment and update us. How was she feeling afterward? Was this something that continued to happen? Did it happen again when she was attending church, or did she feel fine after this? I'm really curious to know extra details of this story. Thank you so much for sending that in. That is extra creepy and I don't know what I would think. I would have to look at all the other aspects of stuff that had happened to her just after this event. If you hear barking in the background, my dogs are flipping out. I can't stop them. This next story is from Tracy. She says, "Hi Alice and Jenna, I love your channel." Thanks, girl. I left a comment on the Spirits I See video asking if either of you have been haunted by animal spirits. This is my story about being haunted by a silverback gorilla whenever I was at my grandparents'. I would feel dizzy and I'd have a heavy weight pushing on me while walking through the hall to the bathroom. When I would look into the bathroom, I would see a large black mass straight ahead crouching in the clawfoot tub. If I stood there in the dark for long enough, I would see it shift, grunt, and thud against the tub. When I turned the light on, it would go away, but I would occasionally still hear it. When I would turn off the light, it would jump out of the tub and chase me like a speeding gorilla does, grunting, snorting on all fours, and slightly sideways as it ran. If I looked behind me, I would see the silver on its back as it passed the night lights my Grammy had put up. It would disappear when it was about halfway down the stairs. I always wondered what was on the land before this house was there. I figured it would have to been a zoo or an old traveling circus. My Grammy didn't know, and I never ended up doing the research to find out. My grandparents moved from there years ago. All other people that have lived there have never stayed very long. I wonder if they saw the silverback gorilla that I did. I love sharing my ghost experiences with people that understand. My family has so many experiences with spirit. Love you gals. Tracy. That sounds like a terrifying event. A terrifying event as a grown-up, I can't imagine as a child. And I know that a lot of things like this grown-ups would totally write off when you're a kid because it just sounds so outlandish, but I have a strong belief that kids see a lot of things that adults do not. Having a great imagination and a sense of creativity that you do when you're a child allows you to be open to a lot more of these things. Your thought on the traveling circus struck me as a really great theory. I don't think I would have thought of that on my own. The zoo possibly, but the traveling circus, because we know a lot of those animals are very mistreated and totally could have passed away on the property. My other thought is that this is some other type of being that presents itself like a very strong animal in our world, which is just as scary as it actually being a silverback gorilla. I personally am terrified of monkeys and terrified of gorillas in particular. So this sounds like my literal nightmare. But touching on your question, have Alice or myself been haunted by animals? I won't speak for Alice. Hopefully she can comment down below and tell you what her experiences are with animal spirits. But I did mention in a video long ago that I had a cat as a child that was very much alive, but she meant a whole lot more to me than just a cat. We had a very interesting connection, and I experienced a lot of paranormal strangeness around her. A lot of the paranormal activity I experienced as a child, for some reason, as a kid, stuff makes sense. As an adult, you look back and go, what? But I associated some of the paranormal stuff I experienced somehow was connected with her. That's my only experience with paranormal stuff around an animal, even less related to your question. I have a dog now that strongly resembles a lot of the same traits and appearance of a dog that I had years ago who passed away. It reminds me a lot of A Dog's Purpose. Have you seen that movie? So that's all I can give you when it comes to the animal side of things. So thanks for sending that in, Tracy. I loved reading that. This next story is from Candice Owendeck. She says, "Hello, my name is Candice. I've had paranormal activity happen around me pretty much since I was a teenager. I've wanted to write to you guys for a long time, but I had a really negative experience with a local so-called ghost hunting group, and therefore felt really anxious talking to people about my experiences. Jenna and Alice, you both seem so down to earth and caring. I knew I could finally share at least one experience with you. This happened, I think, in about 2011. My son was only 3 years old. We were living in a small town in southwestern Ontario, Canada. The house we lived in was quite old, built in maybe the 40s. There was 3 bedrooms on the upper floor. One room was the playroom for my son. I always got really bad vibes from the playroom, and from my bedroom I could see into that room and I hated it. I would keep the door to the playroom shut and would find it open from time to time, but no one had opened it. I'm a hairstylist, so I worked every Saturday. My husband would make nice breakfast every Saturday morning before I had to go to work, and this particular morning was like any other Saturday morning. My husband, myself, and my son sat down at the table to eat. My son, only being 3, started whining about wanting a specific red flashlight. I knew which flashlight it was, but it was buried in the toy box in the playroom. We said, let's eat first, and then after breakfast, I'll go to work, and Dad will help you find it. At this point, I knew the playroom door was shut because I had specifically closed it that morning. My son all of a sudden freaked out, as small kids will do, and yelled, I want my red flashlight now. As soon as he said this, the flashlight flew down the stairs, made a 90-degree turn, hit the floor, and slid into the kitchen, right to my son's feet. It was an open concept kitchen, so we literally watched the entire event happen. My husband and I stared at each other, my husband looking horrified. My son picked up the flashlight and said in a cheery voice, my flashlight. My husband said, don't leave me today. LOL. We went upstairs to check the door because I knew I had closed it. The door was open, just a crack, and the cat and the dog were downstairs in the living room. I have no explanation for this event. This house had some not so good history to it. I also have to mention that there was a hydro station right next door. I had many paranormal experiences in that house. I think the hydro station next door was feeling the energy of the spirits. Thanks for taking the time to read my story. I love your videos. Keep on creeping on, Candice." That is a wild story. I would be totally freaked out too if I were you and your husband. Thank you so much, Candice, for trusting us with your story. And that is a really scary story, so I can understand not wanting to talk about it. Now, my first question to you is, has anything like this happened around your son again? Maybe this isn't paranormal. Maybe this is something your son is very capable of doing on his own. Has he had a lot of interesting things happen around him after this event? Other things similar to this. It sounds almost like a telekinesis situation where he wanted it and so he got it. But that aside, if that's not the case, then yeah, there could totally be something in that house that was connected to your son, maybe because your son spent a lot of time in that playroom, knowing that you didn't want to go in there. Your son was probably the one who spent most of his time playing in there, and maybe something became very connected with him. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. And I'm concerned for you about feeling like you had some type of attachment after spending time with the paranormal group. That's not great. So please email us again and let us know if you need any help with cleansing or if you still have any attachments. I really hope that that is not the case. But thank you so much for sharing your story and for trusting us with it as well. This next story is from Margaret Kummer. She says, hello ladies. First off, thank you so much for your videos and being such a light and positive part of my day. Oh, you're welcome. Sending you both so much love and light. So one of my many stories happened last Halloween. Well, it started the eve of Halloween. So my friend Crystal and I went to our local graveyard in Sturgeon Falls. and we encountered what we believed to be the guardian. That's the name we gave him because he gave us this "I'm here to watch over these souls and don't push me" energy. When we first went in, we made it halfway up one path and got stopped. It was like hitting a bodybuilder almost. It was hard to breathe and the energy just felt protective, like we could be there, but don't push it. Margaret, just so you know, Alice and I are planning on visiting this graveyard very, very soon. We walked around asking some questions with the Necrophonic app and got some pretty intelligent answers. But of course, we tried to see if we could walk past the wall. And we did get a little bit further, but then both of us heard different sounds. I heard what sounded like a frustrated huff and some footsteps running towards us, and Crystal heard the footsteps and a voice. I got an image of what he looked like in my head. To me, he looked like an orc from the Lord of the Rings, big and bulky, slimy but covered in bumps, almost like warts. He didn't seem evil, but he could be provoked, if that makes any sense. It was almost like he was just watching over a certain part of the cemetery as well, the old section, near the front gates. We bolted when we heard the footsteps running towards us, which we knew was wrong, but if you heard it, I think anyone would have ran. It was to get us out. We made sure to let whomever know they had to stay, and we wished them peace and left. We went back the next night. Halloween night was calm, peaceful. The moon was full, and again, we got so many voices, intelligent responses. My friend even got a hello from her aunt. The guardian wasn't there for some reason. I figure it was because they can roam freely during All Hallows Eve. Halloween night, we also went to the murder barn in Cache Bay. That's a video that Alice and I just did recently, titled The Dog Chain Murders, and I'll link that up top. We called names, and we got names of the brothers who lived there. I believe they were the ones who called us names and told us to leave, which we did. We made sure to try to only speak to those of love and light. We even had a joker named Mike at the cemetery. He was a Joey from Friends type character. Even got a "Hey ladies" from our friend Mike. It was a great experience, and we have written out what we can hear on the videos. If you'd like, I could send them to you, and maybe you can hear something else. Thank you again for listening to our story. XOXO, love you both, Margaret and Crystal. Thank you so much for sharing. We are very excited to go to both of these locations. Now I'm thinking that we might have to make the trip around Halloween. Thank you so much, Margaret and Crystal, for sharing your story with us. This next story is from Adira Sharjeel Khan. I have commented on your videos about my dog and our horror stories, but this one was too large to not notice. I hope you can debunk it or explain what's going on because I'm terrified. So my dog had been sitting on the sofa and barking at the main door of our house. I didn't think much of it because I thought he heard the lift doors opening, but then that night, when my dog was barking at the door, I had a terrifying dream. I forgot most of the dream, but something I remember very clearly is me sitting up on my bed and finding a bunch of hair on the pillow that was mine. My hair was perfectly trimmed into something a little longer than a bob. I woke up after that. The next night is where it gets the creepiest. My dog normally sleeps in the other room, but tonight he snuck in, so I let him sleep in my room. I even felt safe with him there because I got so scared from the nightmare. My bathroom door was a little bit open so that my dog could go pee and poop in there. From the corner of my eye, I kept feeling like something was in the bathroom. Again, I didn't think much of it, but my dog got up from his sleep and went to the bathroom and started barking at a corner. My heart was pumping faster than ever, so I tried to tell myself that it's probably a bug or a moth, but nothing was there. One more thing I think is worth mentioning, my dog has been having bad dreams too. He isn't a sleep talker, but these days he growls and whines in his sleep, perhaps dreaming about something. Thank you for reading my story. If it helps, my dog's breed is a beagle. Well, we say a lot to trust your pets. Trust your pets. They see, feel, sense things that we do not. Maybe your dream didn't have a direct connection to whatever was in your bathroom, but the presence that it was leaving influenced you to have this bad dream. And same with your dog. I'm wondering, have you done anything in particular, ghost hunting, or been to any haunted location, or tried a Ouija board, anything like that that could have invited this thing in? Also, yes, trust your pet. If he's barking at nothing like a corner, there could be good reason for that. It's hard to debunk something like that when we're not there, but I would say that if you're feeling like this entity hasn't left and it's still there and you're still scared, there are several things that you can do to get it to leave. And being confident that you're the one that's in charge is where it starts. You can check out one of our videos on house cleansing. I'll link it up here. And that is a great place to start when it comes to getting rid of something you think that might be in your home. Also, looking up ways to protect yourself is a great thing as well. That might also keep the nightmares at bay. We wish you the best of luck, and comment down below or send us another email if you have any other things that you want to talk about or any other stories or information you want to share. And that's it for viewer stories today, guys. Thank you so much for watching and sticking to the end. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like so that we know you like it, and we'll continue to make videos like this as long as you guys continue to send us your paranormal stories. We love reading them, and we love reading them to share them with you guys. So please keep sending them all in, and we will get to read your story eventually. If it seems like it's taking a long time, don't worry, we will get to it. It might just take us a little bit longer. Also, if you're new here, guys, don't forget to go over to our Instagram page and follow us there. You can follow Alice and myself on our personal pages as well. Everything will be linked in the description below. And that's it for me today, guys. So until next time, keep on creeping on. Bye.